I had one friend that was like my best friend, and it just happened to be his son.
That could potentially be your brother. You could have dated your brother.
Yes.
And it's just that simple.
Yeah.
When I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl, and he told me that he didn't want to be with me. I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower. He came to the hospital with his mom.
You all developed a scheme as teenagers to get pregnant so that you can get married, but you slept with more than one guy?
Yes,
so
I
to
did.
make sure you got pregnant?
Yes, I did.
So, Ms. Lindsay is in a bit of a pickle. She's here because she believes that Mr. Dannenbrink, a family friend, is actually her biological father. She's been living with the uncertainty of not knowing her true father for years, and today she's about to get some answers.
You know about the pregnancy.
She never told me that she was pregnant. She never told me I even had a child.
I had no reason to tell him because he's not the father.
I said, 35 years I have walked through this life wondering who I am. And would you have been proud of me? Why was I not good enough?
I still stand firm that Mr. Dannenbrink is not her dad.
Don't think she's my daughter, but hoping she is.
Wow. So Mr. Dannenbrink just admitted to having a fling with Ms. Lindsay's mother back in the day, but he's adamant that there's no way he could be her father. Jeez. Let's see how he wriggles himself out of this.
Mr. Dannenbrink,
Yes, Your Honor.
you admit to having a sexual relationship with Ms. Lindsay's mother, but say there is no way you're her biological father.
That's right, Your Honor. I met her and we just had like a hit and run situation. She disappeared on me and then we got back together again, and a couple of days later she went her way, and it just kept on for years that way. And there's no way she could be my daughter.
What a bombshell by Ms. Lindsay. She just revealed that everyone in town, including Mr. Dannenbrink's family, believes he's her father. Can you imagine the gossip going around town? But hold on, it gets even juicier.
My house and accused me of being the child that they had together. And when I had asked my mother about that, she told me no, that it wasn't true.
You were 16.
Yes.
And an ex of Mr. Dannenbrink's comes to your house.
Yes.
And says, you're the child that your mother had with Mr. Dannenbrink.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, the ex thinks you're the child that came in between her and Mr. Dannenbrink.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when Ms. Lindsay was just 16, an ex of Mr. Dannenbrink showed up at her doorstep claiming she was their love child. Ms. Lindsay confronts her mother about this revelation, only to be told that Mr. Dannenbrink is not her father. Talk about a family secret that's been buried for years. Everyone is speechless, but not for long.
And so I just left it alone. And then my mother and him had started talking again, and we became more close, I guess you would say. We lived right next door to each other, and we started having barbecues together and spent a few holidays together and things like that.
The man next door, your neighbor.
Yes.
You believe he's your biological father.
Yes.
But you've never said anything to him.
Not really.
Fast forward a few years and Ms. Lindsay and Mr. Dannenbrink reconnect at church. They start hanging out, having BBQs together, and even spending holidays as a pseudo-family. It's like a modern-day blended family situation, but with a twist of paternity uncertainty.
This calendar shows, for one, the day that I was born. And if you count back, if I was born full term, the conception would be between May and June. And the doctors did say that I was born a month premature, which puts my due date at March 11th, which my mother would be right at that time. However, I had no health problems when I was born. I was born at a normal weight.
Whoa, this is getting interesting. Ms. Lindsay presents a calendar outlining the possible dates of conception, and surprise, surprise, it aligns with the time she was born. The evidence is stacking up, and the tension is rising.
So you all just were kind of sex partners.
Yes.
Just
Correct, Your Honor.
Whatever.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know, what's the word? Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits.
But were y'all friends? I don't even get the friend part here.
Yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Bump and go.
Bump and go.
Yeah.
Okay, Jerome.
That's not surprising. Mr. Dannenbrink seems unsure about the dates on the calendar, citing the chaotic nature of the past. It's like a puzzle that's missing a few pieces, and we're all trying to put it together to reveal the big picture. Maybe Mr. Dannenbrink can help us out.
So, Ms. Lindsay, your mother's saying that Mr. Dannenbrink is not your biological father.
Right.
What leads you to not believe your mother?
The doctors did say that I was born a month early, but they also said that I was going to be a boy the entire time she was pregnant with me. So they could have been wrong. Second thing, my mom does admit to having a child with Mr. Dannenbrink.
As the tension rises, Mr. Dannenbrink drops a bombshell of his own by admitting to a tumultuous past filled with drugs and hectic moments. It's a confession that adds another layer of complexity to the case.
And was that Mr. Dannenbrink's child?
Yes, Your Honor.
She never said nothing to me about that.
No, I admit that I did not.
You never mentioned it to him?
No.
Miss Lindsay, I'm looking at your face. It doesn't seem like you're believing a lot of your mother's testimony.
I don't.
Why?
She says that she had this child. I've never seen the papers, although I've asked a few times. And on top of that one, I've went to the public records place. There's no proof of her birth or death.
The courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as the truth hangs in the balance. Will Ms. Lindsay finally get the answer she's been searching for all these years? The DNA results are in, and we're about to learn the truth.
Mr. Dannenbrink, you are not her father.
It doesn't matter. I consider her my daughter.
How are you feeling, Miss Lindsay? I know this was difficult for you.
Confused, but I'm happy at the same time.
Ms. Rogers here reconnected with her elementary school sweetheart, Mr. Stone, after years apart, and we all know how that goes. They started hanging out, reminiscing about old times, and things quickly escalated to a steamy affair. But hold on, there's a twist. Mr. Stone conveniently forgets to mention one huge detail.
Were you sleeping with anyone else?
I was not with nobody when I was with him.
You told me yourself that you would have an encounter before we even had the first encounter.
There was no benefits with no other friends until after I stopped talking to him.
It's as if you all were in two different galaxies and somehow ended up with a potential child. I don't think they agreed on anything but the threesome.
The man has a girlfriend. Ms. Rogers spills the tea, revealing that she and Mr. Stone had unprotected sex. Not just once, but multiple times. And get this, there was even a scandalous threesome involved. Yep, you heard that right, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Possible you are the father of her baby, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Rogers, you say there's no doubt Mr. Stone is Christian's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
I met him in elementary school. We was friends. I kind of moved away after a while. We was close friends, but we never kept in touch because we were so young. And one day, after some years of being apart, I was at my friend's house, or I was at her boyfriend's house, and we were...
Mr. Stone tries to throw shade at Ms. Rogers, claiming she was involved with one of his friends. Ms. Rogers claps back, denying the accusations and standing her ground. The tension is palpable as these former friends turned foes go head to head, each trying to prove their side of the story.
She was at one of my friends' house, and when I walked in, she was already hugged up with one of my friends.
I was not hooked up with nobody. When he walked in the door, I was sitting at the table.
On his lap.
I was not on nobody's lap. When he came in the door, I was sitting at the table. The friend that he was talking about was in the kitchen. I was not sitting on nobody's lap.
Your Honor, when I walked in, we caught eyes. She was on his lap, and
I was not
like
on
I said,
lap.
we ended up talking.
He could make you believe I was not.
One at a time.
So Mr. Stone had been keeping secrets about his relationship status. Shocker. Ms. Rogers is left shocked and betrayed, realizing that she had been played. The audience gasps as the truth comes to light. The case just got messier, and the stakes got higher.
So you didn't use protection in a threesome with Ms. Rogers and another...
The other girl was my girlfriend.
That he did not tell me about until that night. He did not tell me that this girl was his girlfriend. Yes, he said that he was talking to a girl before, but he told me that right then he was single. I would not have kept sleeping with him if I knew that he was in a relationship.
The tension reaches its peak as Ms. Rogers and Mr. Stone continue to trade accusations and denials. It's a he said, she said situation that could go on forever.
At the hospital, and you don't know why.
Yeah, I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat. My friend came to me. We were chilling, talking, and then he said he had to go pick them up and drop them off. So
he knew
I rode with him.
He saw the ultrasound pictures when I came out the hospital. He looked at them.
No, I did not.
He held them in his hand and looked at them.
No, I did not.
Picture of my ultrasound. It said, "You're having a boy." I found out I was pregnant. I was 4 months pregnant. I give that to him.
My friend sent me a picture.
I give him that. Okay.
As the judge prepares to reveal the DNA test results, the tension in the courtroom is unreal. Will the truth finally come out, or will this case end in even more drama and confusion? Let's find out.
Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
Told you I don't got lying about nothing. I know what I did. I paid for extra.
It's cool.
Not cool. Child.
It is cool. You proved it. You wanted to. You proved that I'm such the whore that you think I am. You proved it.
Ms. Jones Henry is sweating bullets. She is a 56-year-old woman who is about to meet the man she believes is her daughter's father for the first time since she conceived. Talk about a nerve-wracking moment. She's here to prove that Mr. Jackson is the biological father of her daughter, Melanie.
Any doubts? But were there any other men?
No.
That's a two-part question.
I was in the military. I wasn't even 19 yet. She's just trying to trap another military man.
I was in love with him. Whether he was in love with me or not, I was in love with him. Do you understand how much that hurt Mrs. Jackson?
I just don't understand why he don't want me.
As Mr. Jackson enters the courtroom, you can cut the tension with a knife. Ms. Jones-Henry is visibly upset, and Melanie is clearly nervous about meeting her alleged father for the first time. The emotions are running high, and we're in for a bumpy ride.
Ms. Jones-Henry,
Yes, Your Honor.
I can feel the anger. I can cut the tension with the knife in here right now. And Melanie, how are you feeling right now in this moment, Ms. Jones?
I'm hurt. I feel a little lost, unwanted. This is my first time ever even seeing him. I've never even seen him up.
Talk about a tearjerker, Ms. Jones. Henry pours her heart out, expressing her hurt and confusion about why Mr. Jackson never wanted to be a part of her daughter's life. She's been waiting for this moment for years, hoping to finally get some closure. Melanie, on the other hand, is grappling with the reality of meeting her potential father.
I just don't understand why he don't want me.
I can see how much that hurts you. And
I don't believe I'm her father. I never did. I know she's been with other people, even while we were together, so.
Your Honor, excuse me. May I address it? It's not true.
She admitted that she's with someone else. I tricked her into admitting that she was with someone else.
so wait a minute. You're saying you tricked her into admitting that?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, on the other hand, seems adamant that he is not the father. He claims that Ms. Jones-Henry was with other men during their relationship and that he never believed he was the biological father. The courtroom is divided, with both parties sticking to their version of events. It's a classic case of he said, she said.
Were you with any other guy during the time
No, Your Honor.
your daughter was conceived?
No, Your Honor.
So take me back to this relationship. I want to try to understand. What was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Jackson?
When I met Mr. Jackson, I met him at a club. He was in the military. We were together all week long while he was there. We wasn't a fly-by-night. We was just together.
That was informative. So Ms. Jones-Henry and Mr. Jackson met at a club, and things escalated quickly from there. But Mr. Jackson seemed to have doubts from the get-go, citing red flags in their interactions. Was it a case of love gone wrong, or was there more to the story than meets the eye? We're about to find out.
And after this, did you find out you were pregnant, Ms. Jones-Henry?
A few months, and I told him. He wasn't either ecstatic or he just didn't give a reaction to anything.
So no reaction?
None.
No joy?
None.
Nothing?
None.
Did he deny it at the time?
He didn't deny or he just gave no reaction.
Mr. Jackson, what were you thinking when she told you she was pregnant?
That she was lying.
When Ms. Jones-Henry revealed her pregnancy to Mr. Jackson, his reaction was less than enthusiastic. He dismissed her claims and called her a liar. The tension between them reaches a boiling point as they recount their version of events. This case is full of miscommunications and misunderstandings, but the truth is about to come to light.
No, he
This
never
question
asked
he
that
says
question.
where he tried to trick you.
He never asked that question.
And so after you told him you're pregnant, were you still around Mr. Jackson? Did you participate at all with the pregnancy?
No, he never participated. He left.
He left. And you went off to serve?
I was in the Marine Corps. I went off to, my duty station changed. It wasn't that I left. Like I had to leave. That was the end of my time at that.
Exactly, and we thank you for your service.
So Mr. Jackson just doubled down on his belief that he is not the father. He accuses Ms. Jones-Henry of trying to trap him and other military men into fatherhood. The accusations fly back and forth, painting a picture of a tumultuous relationship filled with mistrust and betrayal. It's a messy situation.
At some point, you get another piece of advice, that since your checks had been garnished, they were small.
Right.
In order to get more money, you had to sign up for what was called dependence pay.
Right.
But you had to get some dependents.
Right.
And so what you did is you said you signed an affidavit of paternity, meaning you basically signed an affidavit of paternity, acknowledging paternity.
With emotions running high and tensions escalating, the judge is ready to finally reveal the DNA test results. This one was messy, and it could be about to get messier.
Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
Really? I didn't have anybody.
He is not the father.
I did not.
You point all that blame on me, and you put your daughter through all that for nothing. That's just...
Mr. Jennings has been raising his daughter Taylor for 26 years, thinking he's her biological father. But his ex-wife, Ms. Lynn, is now saying he's not the daddy. And as you're about to see, there's a lot to unpack here.
Ain't no better to come on top of the mountain up there, so...
Oh, you went up on top of the mountain where the law don't come.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't go up on that mountain. Why do you question that he's your daughter's father?
He wasn't the only one I was sleeping with in order for me to get pregnant.
Like I felt my whole life was a lie, like my whole life was like over, you know?
These results truly mean everything to you today then.
It's a make or break kind of thing, you know?
So Mr. Jennings is fuming, having to drag his ex to court over this bombshell revelation. He's been there for Taylor since day one, changing diapers and all, and now he's being hit with this paternity bombshell.
To drag your ex-wife to court because she is now claiming you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lynn, you admit your ex-husband believed he's Taylor's father, but claim your daughter deserves the truth, and the fact is her daddy is not her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lynn, on the other hand, claims that her daughter deserves the truth, and that Mr. Jennings may not be the biological father after all. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Taylor, the daughter in question, recalls the moment when her stepmother dropped the bombshell that Mr. Jennings might not be her real dad.
For her.
And you have no doubts all of these years, you say 26 years, this has been your baby girl. You've changed diapers, you've done whatever a father should do, and you love her. You've never had a doubt.
I've never had a doubt.
You and Mr. Jennings were married at one time.
Yes.
Tell me about the relationship.
We wanted to be together. We wanted to get married. All right, I was very young. My parents did not want us together at all. It was strictly forbidden.
But hold on a minute. Things take a wild turn when Ms. Lynn reveals that she was a teenage rebel who concocted a plan to get pregnant so she could marry Mr. Jennings. Yep, you heard that right. And that's not even the worst part.
And he knew this then.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You all developed a scheme as teenagers to get pregnant so that you can get married, but you slept with more than one guy?
Yes,
so
I
to
did.
make sure you got pregnant?
Yes, I did. I wanted to marry him that badly.
This was agreed upon?
It was something that he was well aware of.
Yes, you heard that right, folks. Ms. Lynn admits to sleeping with more than one guy around the time she got pregnant. Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Jennings had no idea about this little detail. So, what else has Ms. Lynn been keeping under wraps?
You went
Would
on
be
up
safe.
there.
Couldn't nobody find us. And all.
Two teenagers, you all making this up. You all just, this is our plan, to be together.
Yeah, sometime in June, we came back down to Georgia. June the 21st, she was pregnant. We got everything, went to Carrollton Courthouse, got married. February 14th, Taylor was born.
Did you discover she was pregnant in Georgia, or did you discover she was pregnant on the mountain?
I think we was back in Georgia when we found out.
Now, Mr. Jennings comes in with a timeline that reads like a movie script. They ran away to a place where the law didn't dare to tread, got married, and boom, Taylor was born. It's like a real-life teen drama unfolding before our eyes. And we're not even halfway through the movie.
But wait, when did you get married? Did you? It says June 21st.
That's correct.
Is that true? Do you
That is
anybody
correct.
have proof of that? Bring up.
I do.
Jerome, let me see that, please. So you've presented to the court a marriage certificate.
From secret mountain hideaways to shotgun weddings, this story has it all. But wait, there's more. Ms. Lynn drops the bombshell that she found out she was pregnant in Georgia, not on the mysterious mountain hideaway. The plot thickens.
Go on your mom's social media page and start looking through her friends.
The first person I write, I ask him, and he says it's me. That's his exact words.
Really? Do you believe he is Taylor's biological father?
I honestly don't know, but she does look like it.
This entire scheme that was concocted was through the mind of a child. Here's a kid.
As the court tries to unravel this tangled web of teenage romance, it's clear that this case is far from over. So who's the real daddy? We're about to find out.
Mr. Jennings, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Taylor. I know this was not the news you wanted.
Taylor, just remember this, baby. It takes more than having a baby to be a parent. He's always been your daddy. He's always gonna be your daddy.
Chastity Harris is caught in a love triangle between her current boyfriend, Mr. Murray, and her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson. Both men claim to be the father of her 18-month-old daughter, Ania.
Mr. Murray, you say you did not use protection.
We had a situation.
What's a situation?
Threesome.
Oh. Is there anything else you need to say in court?
I can't sit here no more.
Miss Harris?
So Chastity spills the tea on her relationship with Mr. Donaldson, who initially didn't even believe she was pregnant. Can you imagine that? He thought she was trying to trap him because he had feelings for someone else. Ouch. But hey, he eventually came around when she started showing. Better late than never, right?
So, Miss Harris, now you're currently in a relationship with Mr. Murray.
Yes.
But both Mr. Murray and Mr. Donaldson think they are your 18-month-old daughter Ania's biological father.
Yes.
Why is that? Let's talk about these relationships. Tell me about your relationship with Mr. Donaldson.
From my understanding, we was dating. But then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl.
That was Mr. Donaldson's mom, and now we know that she found out about the pregnancy pretty late. She thought her son was the dad because, well, Chasidi said so. But things took a turn when Grandma met Anaya and started having doubts.
You didn't believe she was pregnant, Mr. Donaldson?
Not at the beginning.
Why'd you feel like she was lying?
I felt like she was trying to ruin the relationship that I had.
Oh, you feel like she was trying to hang on to you by claiming that she was pregnant because you told her you were in love with somebody else.
That's right.
So did you find out he wanted to be in a relationship with somebody else before you got pregnant or after you got pregnant?
It was after I got pregnant.
That was unexpected. During Anaya's birth, Mr. Donaldson was at the hospital claiming his daddy duties. But wait, there's a twist. His mom saw someone named Fred around the baby, and suddenly the doubts started creeping in.
And so you say at some point he did accept that the baby was his?
I mean, he had to when he seen that my belly was big.
Oh, because you saying at first he didn't even believe it, so then when your stomach started growing.
No, he brought me a pregnancy test.
Oh, he did, all right. So you brought her a pregnancy test and said, prove it.
Yeah.
And she did.
By that time, it was too late. She was like big.
Meanwhile, Mr. Murray, Chasidi's current boyfriend, is in the mix, believing he's Anaya's father. He's been there for the baby, trying to make things work. But with all this paternity drama, it's hard to say if that's his kid or not.
I said, are you sure? Then I had to ask her how she was feeling about it because I was going around her family and they was telling me that she looked just like me.
So as you started going around and meeting her family, they start telling you that the baby looks just like you.
Exactly like me.
As the court case unfolds, we learn more about the tangled web of relationships and doubts surrounding Anaya's paternity. Mr. Donaldson's family accepted the baby at first, but things got messy and they started backing away. Can you blame them?
When were you intimate with Mr. Murray?
It was like in the middle of February, but he used protection.
So you were intimate with Mr. Murray around this time, but you say you used protection. But Mr. Murray, you say you did not use protection.
We had a situation December 14th.
What's a situation?
A threesome.
Oh, I didn't expect you to say that.
With Mr. Murray and Mr. Donaldson both claiming to be Anaya's father, tensions are running high in the courtroom. Who will be proven to be the biological dad?
Mr. Gerald Donaldson, you are not the father. Mr. Murray, you are not the father.
I can't sit here no more.